Hello everyone. Sorry here. Thank you so much for joining me for Kendra Card Challenge Super Sponsor video featuring the one and only This Calls for Confetti. And I was honored to be supplied with this paper pad and some ephemera, and it is coffee themed. And I absolutely love coffee, and definitely check out their line of products that all correlate with the coffee theme. So to start off, I'm just going through this paper pad, picking out papers that I find interesting. I am not going to be creating all 15 cards, so I just want to show you how I would do it if I'm just going to create a couple sketches. So I'm going to be working on card 14 first, and I'm going to take my bean. I love this one. This one is a really cool pattern paper, but I wasn't thinking. I was thinking I was doing the background, and I realized that I cut it wrong. So luckily I'm able to take the piece I cut off first, and I can cut these little strips off, which measure ½ inch. So for the coffee bean paper, this is going to be paper D, which is the blue strip on the sketch there on the left hand side. The first one is going to be measured 4 3/4 by ½ and then the second is 2 1/2 inches. Now for this piece, this is what I initially wanted to cut, and I want to make sure this is centered on an A2 card. So I'm going to trim some of the left and some of the right, top and bottom, just making sure that my image is perfectly centered. And I will be taking off a 1/4 inch border so that I have a nice border on my card. And then the last piece, this would be paper B, and those pieces are measured 4 1/2 and 3 1/4 inch by ½ And I'm just going to position these to kind of get an idea how it's going to look. And I'm really liking this. I love how this is all coming together. To stick with the coffee theme, I decided to do a brown card base. And then I took one of the pieces of ephemera that says, take a little coffee break. And then I cut out a circle, which is roughly 3 1/4 inches. It's a scallop circle, and put that behind my ephemera. Now the next thing I want to do is I just want to make it so that these pieces of scrap aren't just floating there. And to do that, I'm going to take a piece of brown cardstock that matches the card base. And I cut out the strips that all match the length of the pieces that I've cut already, but added another 1/8 of an inch onto it. And then that will just break it up so that when it's all put together, it will match the card base and look like it's all connected and kind of give this striped effect. It's really starting to come together, especially with all this extra brown added to it. And once I have these pieces cut or glued down, I will turn this around and cut off any piece that's overhanging. You can leave it if you want. That's a totally different style, but I want it to be contained within this frame. And there we go. That looks so cool. Now to give it some more framing, I decided last minute I'm going to add a white panel just to separate it some more from the card base. So now my brown strips aren't going to match with the card base, but as I was doing this, that's how I felt looked a little bit nicer to me. And I really like how this is turning out. Now to start finishing off, I'm just going to glue my ephemera to my circle. And then, as you can see, I love using scrap pieces of paper. So that is actually foiling from one of my previous cards of a pig for craft roulette. So that was something I didn't need, so I decided to use it as my ephemera, or for my circle. And I just prop that up with some foam tape. And then to finish it, I'm going to add these enamel dots, which were part of this collection. And all these dots match the paper quite well. I decided just to stick with these cream colored ones. I think they look really sharp on this, and I'm going to just stagger them around. Now, because this is a dark card base and not white, I always add another piece of white cardstock in the center for someone to write a message. But because I also have all this ephemera, I'll just randomly pick one and place that right in the center, and it says, let's meet for coffee. And so that's the first card. So let's continue creating our coffee cards. And what I did was I went with sketch number 13 because it uses the same cardstock that I had already cut. And I was able to use the coffee bean that I cut wrong the first time, which is a perfect A2 size. So I decided to use that as my background. Now I did cut all the paper off camera just so that we can skip right through this, but I just want to show you how when you've already cut all your pieces for your first card, you can quickly create a second card if you follow one of the sketches that use the same pattern paper. So I was lucky that for me in sketch number 13, I was able to use that green leaf and coffee bean pattern paper as well as the coffee bean paper that I cut wrong in the first card. And it turned out to make a really nice card. So I'm just going to glue this down to my brown card base, which is the same as I did for the previous card. I'm really liking this brown. And this time I'm not adding a white mat in between the layers. So we're going to go right into the brown. And now when I do my mat in the center, that column there, the brown matches the base card so it's all connected. And it kind of makes it look like that each piece has been separated. Now to keep this piece up that I'm putting down now, I just added a little bit of extra padding, which is extra cardstock that I have on hand. And now I'm trying to figure out how to get this big sentiment ephemera on my card. I'm going to have to trim it off. I didn't want to place it over too far, but I'm going to prop it up with some foam tape, place it down, and make it so that I don't need to trim much off, just very little. And you're not even really going to notice if you're not paying attention. And to finish it off, I'm going to add the 3 enamel dots that are part of the sketch, and I'm going to use the green ones that kind of match the leaves. And don't forget, this is part of a Kendra Card Challenge design hop, so there are other design teams members that have created cards as well, so definitely check them out. And there are chances of winning a prize from Cards by Kendra, so read all that up in the description box below, and I hope you have fun playing along and seeing all the other creations. So until the next time, have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.